Assalamu alaikum, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam. Imagine spending an entire lifetime believing you're a true follower of Allah's path, only to discover you've merely been following empty rituals without embodying the real essence of what it means to be Muslim. Al-Ghazali, the great revivifier of faith, warns us in his masterpiece Ihya Ulum al-Din, "Many carry the name of Muslim, but few manifest its reality," a disconcerting truth that invites us to look beyond labels and examine the depth of our faith. What truly defines a genuine follower of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him? What essential qualities do many of us overlook, perhaps without even realizing it? Imam al-Ghazali identified 25 fundamental qualities that distinguish the authentic Muslim from one who merely carries the title, not in the eyes of people who see only the exterior, but in the eyes of Allah, who sees the hearts. In this video, I will reveal these 25 qualities that al-Ghazali considered indispensable for a true Muslim. The 17th quality in particular is so rarely mentioned that it could completely transform your understanding of Islam. Stay until the end for a profound reflection on how to incorporate these qualities into your own spiritual journey. The first 5 qualities that al-Ghazali identifies as essential for a true Muslim are rooted in heart purification, which he considered the center of all spiritual transformation. The first quality is ikhlas, absolute sincerity of intention. Al-Ghazali reports that Prophet Muhammad said, "Allah does not look at your forms or your wealth, but looks at your hearts and your actions." For al-Ghazali, this sincerity means that you act exclusively to please Allah, without seeking recognition, praise, or worldly benefits. In his Ihya, al-Ghazali writes, "Sincerity is purifying the act of any motivation beyond seeking closeness to Allah." He compares the sincere heart to a polished mirror that perfectly reflects divine light, without distortions caused by ego or worldly desires. The second essential quality is taqwa, vigilant consciousness of Allah. It's not just avoiding what's forbidden, but living with the constant perception of divine presence. Al-Ghazali cites the famous hadith of Jibril, where the Prophet defined ihsan as worshipping Allah as if you were seeing him. For even if you don't see him, he certainly sees you. The third quality is zuhd, inner detachment from worldly things. For al-Ghazali, this doesn't mean renouncing material possessions, but rather eliminating attachment to them in your heart. He tells the story of Abdullah ibn Umar, who wore fine clothes and lived comfortably, but whose heart was completely detached from these comforts. True zuhd, wrote al-Ghazali, is not having empty hands of possessions, but having a heart empty of desire for them. The fourth quality is tawakkul, complete trust in Allah. This isn't passivity or fatalism, but the perfect balance between human effort and divine dependence. Al-Ghazali illustrates this with the example of the farmer who carefully plants his seeds, takes all necessary precautions, and then entrusts the final result to Allah without anxiety or attachment to the outcome. The fifth quality is shukr, profound gratitude that permeates every aspect of life. Al-Ghazali teaches that true gratitude manifests on 3 levels: intellectual recognition of the blessing, emotional feeling of joy for it, and using the blessing to serve the giver. One who doesn't thank for small blessings, warns Al-Ghazali, won't thank for large ones. To cultivate these heart qualities, Al-Ghazali recommends the daily practice of muhasaba, rigorous self-examination before sleeping, reviewing the motivations behind each significant action of the day. The next 5 qualities that Al-Ghazali identifies refer to how the true Muslim interacts with others, reflecting the beauty of prophetic character in human relationships. The 6th essential quality is Rahmah, universal compassion that extends to all creatures. Al-Ghazali quotes the Quran where Allah describes Prophet Muhammad as a mercy to all worlds. This compassion isn't limited to Muslims or even humans, but embraces all creation. Al-Ghazali relates that the Prophet once rebuked his companions for disturbing a bird by removing its chicks from the nest. "Who caused pain to this bird by removing its chicks?" he asked. "Return them to her." For Al-Ghazali, this sensitivity to the suffering of all creatures is a mark of the heart truly illuminated by Islam. The 7th quality is Sidq, absolute truthfulness in words and actions. Al-Ghazali observes that the Prophet was known as Al-Sadiq al-Amin, the truthful and trustworthy, even before revelation. This truthfulness goes beyond simply not lying. It's a perfect correspondence between interior and exterior, between belief and action. The true Muslim, writes Al-Ghazali, is one whose tongue expresses exactly what's in his heart, no more, no less. He warns against subtle forms of falsehood such as exaggerating, minimizing, or presenting half-truths to manipulate perceptions. The 8th quality is Hilm, restraint of anger and patient response to provocation. Al-Ghazali narrates that the Prophet said, "The strong person isn't one who defeats others in wrestling, but one who controls himself when angry." This patience isn't born of weakness, but of inner strength and self-mastery. The 9th quality is AFW, generous forgiveness of others' offenses. Al-Ghazali relates the supreme example of the Prophet when he returned victorious to Mecca and, instead of seeking revenge against those who had persecuted him, declared, "No blame upon you today. Go, for you are free." The 10th quality is Ithar, preferring others to oneself. Al-Ghazali cites the Quranic verse about the Ansar of Medina. They prefer others to themselves even while being in need. 59:9. This altruistic generosity is, for Al-Ghazali, the pinnacle of moral excellence. To develop these relational qualities, Al-Ghazali suggests a simple practice. Before each significant interaction with others, make the intention to consciously and deliberately manifest at least one of these qualities. The next 5 qualities that Al-Ghazali considers defining for the true Muslim relate to devotion to Allah and the quality of worship. The 11th quality is Khushu, reverent humility in prayer and all acts of worship. Al-Ghazali laments that many perform the external movements of prayer while their minds wander to worldly matters. Prayer without presence of heart, he writes, is like a body without soul. He recounts that the Prophet's companions, when rising to pray, forgot the world around them. One didn't even notice when an arrow was removed from his leg during prayer. So immersed was he in divine consciousness. For Al-Ghazali, this concentration isn't reserved only for advanced mystics, but is a quality every Muslim should cultivate through mental preparation before prayer and mindful attention during it. The 12th quality is Mujahada, constant effort against negative inclinations of the soul. Al-Ghazali frequently cites the hadith where the Prophet, returning from battle, said, "We return from the lesser jihad to the greater jihad, the struggle against one's own ego." For Al-Ghazali, this inner struggle is the true battlefield of the Muslim. One who knows his own ego and combats it, he writes, knows his Lord. This self-discipline isn't motivated by self-hatred, but by love for Allah and the desire to purify the heart to receive His light. The 13th quality is muraqabah, constant vigilance of one's inner states. It's living with the awareness that Allah observes all thoughts and feelings, not just external actions. Al-Ghazali compares this quality to that of a vigilant hunter, always attentive to the subtle movements of his prey, in this case the negative tendencies that arise in the heart. The 14th quality is muhasabah, regular rigorous self-examination. Al-Ghazali relates that Umar ibn al-Khattab said, "Examine yourselves before you're examined, and weigh your actions before they're weighed." This self-examination isn't to induce paralyzing guilt, but to promote continuous growth and rectification. The 15th quality is dhikr, constant remembrance of Allah. For Al-Ghazali, this isn't merely repetition of formulas, but a state of consciousness that permeates all of life. He writes, "The ultimate goal isn't to move the tongue, but to ignite the heart with remembrance of Allah." Al-Ghazali suggests incorporating moments of conscious pause throughout the day. Before eating, when entering home, when starting a new task, to renew connection with Allah and purify intention. The next 5 qualities that Al-Ghazali identifies as marks of the true Muslim relate to the pursuit of knowledge and practical wisdom, a theme for which he was particularly passionate. The 16th quality is talab al-ilm, continuous pursuit of beneficial knowledge. Al-Ghazali, himself one of Islam's greatest scholars, emphasizes that the true Muslim never ceases learning. He quotes the Prophet, "Seeking knowledge is obligatory for every Muslim, and seek knowledge from cradle to grave." However, Al-Ghazali makes a crucial distinction between knowledge that merely increases erudition and that which transforms character. In his autobiography, Al-Munqidh min al-Dalal, The Deliverer from Error, he confesses how he spent years accumulating encyclopedic knowledge that didn't purify his heart, until his spiritual crisis led him to seek transformative knowledge. The 17th quality, rarely mentioned in contemporary Islamic discourses, is basira, inner vision or spiritual discernment. Al-Ghazali writes, "It's not enough to know the rules. One must understand the deeper purposes behind them." This quality allows the Muslim to navigate complex situations that texts don't explicitly address, discerning what truly pleases Allah. Al-Ghazali relates that the Prophet said, "Fear the perception of the believer, for he sees with Allah's light." This discernment isn't vague mysticism, but the mature fruit of knowledge combined with heart purity and deep reflection. The 18th quality is hikmah, practical wisdom in applying knowledge. For Al-Ghazali, it's not enough to know what's right. It's crucial to know how, when, and where to apply that knowledge in a way that benefits and doesn't cause harm. The wise person, he writes, is one who considers the time, place, and people before speaking or acting. The 19th quality is tawadu lil ilm, humility before knowledge. Al-Ghazali observes that the more one learns, the more one realizes how much they don't know. He tells the story of a student who asked the great Imam Malik ibn Anas about 40 questions, and Malik answered, "I don't know," to 36 of them. The student was perplexed, and Malik explained, "Tell everyone in your land that Malik said, 'I don't know.'" The 20th quality is talim, sharing beneficial knowledge with others. Al-Ghazali quotes the Prophet, "The best charity is when a Muslim acquires knowledge and then teaches it to his Muslim brother. For him, knowledge that isn't shared is like a buried treasure, without benefit to the world." To cultivate these wisdom qualities, Al-Ghazali recommends establishing a regular study circle, alternating between texts that feed the intellect and those that nourish the heart. The last 5 qualities that Al-Ghazali identifies complete the portrait of the true Muslim, focusing on balance and character integrity that should permeate all aspects of life. The 21st quality is wasat, moderate balance in all matters. For Al-Ghazali, the true Muslim avoids extremes in all things and are neither excessively austere nor indulgent, neither rigid nor negligent. He frequently cites the Quranic verse describing Muslims as a middle-way community, 2:143. Al-Ghazali illustrates this principle with a profound observation. Virtue lies in the middle. Courage is the middle between recklessness and cowardice. Generosity is the middle between wastefulness and stinginess. Humility is the middle between pride and self-deprecation. This balance isn't mediocre or simplistic, but a challenging ideal requiring constant wisdom. The 22nd quality is istiqama, constancy and firmness on the straight path. Al-Ghazali quotes the Prophet who, when asked what was the hardest thing in his experience, replied, "The page revealed to me that says, 'Remain steadfast, istaqim, as you were commanded.'" 11:112. This constancy means staying true to principles regardless of external circumstances or internal emotional states. The 23rd quality is tazkiyat al-nafs, continuous purification of the soul. Al-Ghazali sees this as a perpetual process, not a final state to be achieved. He compares the human soul to a mirror requiring constant polishing, as the dust of worldly concerns and selfish desires naturally accumulates over time. The 24th quality is tahsin al-khuluq, constant improvement of character. Al-Ghazali quotes the Prophet, "I was sent only to perfect noble character qualities." For him, Islam isn't primarily a set of rituals, but a system of moral transformation. He writes, "The beauty of religion lies in the beauty of character. One whose conduct doesn't improve with devotion, his devotion is merely formal." The 25th and final quality is ihsan, excellence in all actions. Al-Ghazali interprets the famous hadith where the Prophet defines ihsan as worshipping Allah as if seeing him, beyond the context of ritual worship, applying it to every life act. The true Muslim, he writes, seeks excellence in everything he does, whether prayer or the most mundane work, knowing that Allah observes and appreciates beauty in all things. To cultivate these integrating qualities, Al-Ghazali suggests a practice he calls murabata, consciously linking each day's action from rising to sleeping to consciousness and love of Allah. My dear brothers and sisters, these 25 qualities that Al-Ghazali identified aren't mere external adornments or unattainable ideals. They're the very essence of what it means to be a true Muslim. As he warns us in the Ihya, many confuse the path with the destination and the means with the end. As you reflect on these qualities, don't despair upon realizing the distance between where you are and this ideal. As you reflect on these qualities, don't despair upon realizing the distance between where you are and this ideal. Al-Ghazali offers hope when he writes, "The path to Allah is long, but the journey begins with a single sincere step. and know that Allah loves one who seeks His closeness even if they stumble along the way. Start today. Choose just one of these qualities to focus on for the next week. Perhaps heart presence in prayer, perhaps compassion for all creatures. The following week, choose another. Gradually, like a patient craftsman, you'll sculpt in your soul the character that reflects Islam's beauty in its most authentic form. Remember Ghazali's final words on this topic. Paradise isn't just a place to enter, but a state of being to cultivate. Begin living the qualities of paradise here and now, and you'll have already entered it in spirit before entering it in form. If this video touched your heart, share it with someone who might also benefit. Subscribe to our channel for more teachings from Imam al-Ghazali's treasure of wisdom. And leave in the comments, which of these qualities do you find most challenging in your own spiritual journey? May Allah grant us the blessing of embodying these 25 qualities, transforming us into true Muslims, not just in name but in essence. Jazakumullahu khairan for watching, and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.